Hey guys, and welcome to Truckin and Talk in episode 6. Yeah, it's been quite a long time since I've done one of these. The main reason being I haven't really felt like doing them. Not really felt like playing this game and, doing the commentary over it. But I finally feel like I want to do it again and hopefully get back into a schedule of doing once a week, if not every other week. At least that's my goal, and I hope to be able to achieve that. I mean, I worked out roughly if I had done them once a week now, I'd have like 20, 30 episodes or something, but I haven't. So I'll explain more about that in a minute. But anyway, today in this video, we're going to be driving this Volvo FH. Rather nice truck I've not driven for a while, and I'm going to be taking these tanks, a Marder 1A3, some sort of military vehicles. If I show you on the map, we're going from here in Casinoa, up the coast of Italy to Livorino. So it's a pretty nice drive. And yeah, let's get into the video. Alright, so as I said before, it has been a while since I did one of these videos, and as I said, the reason is I just didn't feel like doing them. And you'll see here as I pull out of the gate, I instantly hit something. You can see I didn't realise how tight it was, and so I didn't go far forward, and I hit the fence. But anyway, as I did actually upload a Truckin and Talk episode 6, which got deleted. And the reason for that was at the time I was having PC crashing issues, which was basically caused by an NVIDIA driver thing. Which I tried reinstalling the drivers, that didn't do anything, and then I tried reinstalling Windows eventually, although not doing a clean install, but doing the option in Windows 10, where it just reinstalls Windows. It gets rid of the programs, but keeps all your data. I did that, and it fixed the problem, and it did, and then made a current backup and all of that. But, ended up fixing the problem, but I don't really know what caused it in the first place. The driver just seemed to go bad and caused the PC to crash when playing a game. And even while I was just generally playing on the PC doing work or whatever, the screen would black screen, so that hasn't happened now, touch wood, for a while. But it's still quite annoying. And I mean, I don't know really what caused that, but I can tell you when I updated to the new Windows 10, this current version we have now, which is not new anymore, it's a few months old, but I had an issue where basically my microphone would not work with anything, and I found out basically before you could say in the privacy settings, don't let apps have access to my microphone. I just don't want them to. I only want the apps that I run, or programs that I run, to have access, but now they made it so if you turn that off, your microphone will not work. Don't understand why, but they did. I mean, a new version of Windows 10 is coming out soon as well, like it does every spring and autumn. Like May and September, or May and October, or April and September, as it usually does. And I'll actually talk about a little bit in this video. But anyway, my first topic I'm going to talk about is this. And this, I heard about this a few days ago, and this did kind of shock me, but Elon Musk says he's having the most painful year of his career. So the first thing it says, running Tesla and SpaceX takes a serious personal toll on Elon Musk. Elon Musk is one of the most famous people in the business world and serves as CEO of two multi-billion-dollar companies at the same time. That adds up to a lot of stress, as Musk made clear in an interview in the New York Times. He said the past year has been the most difficult and painful year of his career. It was excruciating. Over the last couple of weeks, Musk has faced growing criticism of his unorthodox tweet claiming he had funding secured to make Tesla private. It was in the latest series of controversies that had taken an emotional toll on him. During Tesla's May earning call, Musk berated stock analysis for asking him boring, boneheaded questions that are so dry. He apologized for the outburst in his August earnings call, saying he had been under a lot of stress. During a question and answer section with shareholders in June, Musk seemed to close to tears. Last month, Musk led a team of SpaceX engineers who constructed a miniature submarine to help extract teens trapped in a Thailand cave. However, Thai officials unadmittedly said the submarine wasn't needed. Musk then got into a high-profile argument with Vernon Unsworth, a key member of the team who rescued the teens. Musk baselessly referred to Unsworth as a pedo guy. Looming all over his Tesla struggles to ramp up production. It's relatively affordable, the Model 3 sedan. Musk had originally produced the goal of producing 5,000 a week by the end of 2017, but was forced to push his self-imposed deadline back to the end of the second quarter of 2018. Tesla barely squeaked past the finish line. Its workers put in long hours to produce 5,031 cars in the final week of June. But the struggle to ramp up the Model 3 production took a serious personal toll. Musk turned 47 on 28th of June. He spent 24 hours of his birthday at work, which is crazy. I'd never spent my birthday at work, although, to be fair, I have done before at school, but not 24 hours, 8 hours or whatever it was. Musk said 2 days later he nearly missed his brother's wedding, and he flew directly to ceremony from Tesla's factory, then flew to the Tesla headquarters immediately after. And in this next bit he talks about how he's not on, well, the title is I was not on weed. And it says Musk woke up at his home with his girlfriend, the musician known as Grimes, and had an early workout, Time said. Then got onto his Tesla Model S and drove himself into an airport. Musk typed a fateful message. It talks about, well, I'm trying to read this. I've not really read this, but it talks about how he submitted a payment of $420 and it was thought to be for drugs. He said it wasn't. And I mean, it's entirely possible it could be, but I don't know, in a way you can't imagine these people being on drugs, but I suppose you don't know them, they could be on anything. And the last bit says it's unclear how short and healthy obsession with the short sellers of Tesla stock. He told the Times he was expecting the last few months of extreme torture from the short sellers who were desperately pushing a narrative that possibly result in Tesla's destruction. It's unclear how short-driven narrative could destroy Tesla. Unadmittedly, Tesla's success or failure will be determined by whether Tesla can produce cars customers pay less for them, and whether customers are satisfied with the cars. Tesla executes well. No amount of bad press, short seller driven or otherwise, should pose a significant threat to the company. I would say they have a threat anyway, which is the fact that I don't believe electric cars are the future, because there's only to produce electricity to charge your car. It generally comes from a power plant that's emitting smoke. So yeah, you're not emitting carbon dioxide from the back of your car, but you're emitting quite a lot more by charging it. Plus potential limited range and other issues with expense. I personally think that hydrogen is the future of these cars, generally because it doesn't cause any issues with global warming when you make it, and it's everywhere. There's no unlimited amount of it. As long as there's oxygen, there's hydrogen, and generally it has a better range with much less fuel than a petrol car or diesel car or batteries as an electric car. So I believe that's the future personally. There just hasn't been many people that have adopted it yet, but I imagine there soon will be. And when they do, I imagine it will be a very big industry that people will make a lot of money out of. And next thing I'm going to talk about, Intel's 10nm Canon-like chip gets another outing. The new NUC mini PC. So if you don't know what the NUC is basically a mini PC by Intel. It was the first of its kind, and from what I've seen in reviews from Gary Holzman, who owned one of the first Intel NUCs back in April of 2013, he said it was very good. So they say here Intel has dated its small range of small form factor HPC. It's called the NUC, which if you want to build one, it's actually called SATX. I've looked into building one, and you got to use the very small parts for it that aren't always readily available. Anyway, we've generally liked the system in the past with a footprint of about 4 inches by 4 inches. They're very compact, and their feature set makes them versatile for home theatres, digital signs, or other embedded industry uses, workplace productivity, and in some cases even gaming. The first quintet of NUC kits named Bean Cannon, built around coffee-like U CPUs. These range from $299 with an Ivory 8109U at the low end, 2-core 4-thread, 3 to 3.6 GHz, and a $500 one, which is $499 one, which is an i7 8559U at the high end, 4 cores, 8 threads, 2.7 gigs to 4.5 GHz. These are all 28-watt CPUs and all have the Iris Plus graphics, 128 megabytes of eDRAM memory on the CPU itself. The eDRAM is primarily there to produce graphical performance, which makes sense. Also help out on non-graphical workloads too. These 5 systems are all kits, meaning they don't include memory or storage. Aside from the CPU, the other specs are quite uniform, Thunderbolt 3, including Gigabit Ethernet, 802.11 AC Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5, 6 USB ports, some supporting USB 3.1 generation 2, and a micro SD card reader. HDMI 2.0 port, DisplayPort, and USB Type-C ports. The only difference is the supported storage. There are 2 different heights of the chassis. The tall one includes space for both a 2.5-inch drive and an M.2 drive. The short one only supporting for an M.2 drive, which I'm not sure if that's an M-SATA drive or whether it's the standard 2280 design. I'm not sure. The next pair of NUC mini PCs will be named Crimson Cannon. Unlike these units, they are complete systems, processor, memory, storage, and operating system Windows 10 Home. They're also very handy visual internals. They use weird 10nm Canon-like i3 8121 2-core 4-core CPUs. Previously only available in a single Lenovo laptop. Intel's 10nm process is fraught with difficulties. The company isn't expecting the volume until the second half of next year. One of the things that makes the 8121U unusual is that it doesn't have a GPU. We're suspicious that the 10nm yields is so low Intel can't get the GPU to work reliably. To handle this, Intel is planning the CPU with a discrete Radeon 540 GPU with 2 GB of GDDR5. The other 2 models are very similar. They don't have Thunderbolt 3, which means they're limited to USB 3.1 Generation 1. The Bean Canon systems use Thunderbolt 3 chip to provide Gen 2 support, but have 4 Type A ports, Gigabit Ethernet, Wi-Fi, and all the stuff I talked about previously, as well as 8 GB of RAM instead of 4, which I believe you should have at least 8 GB of RAM today, if not 16, for optimal performance in Windows. Thanks to discrete graphics, Intel says the units will be able to play popular competitive games such as League of Legends, TF2, CSGO, 1080p. No pricing is available yet for the systems, but all the new Intel NUCs should be available in September. I like the idea of these, and frankly, I think one of these with the i7 CPU, or even the i5, probably the i7 with 16 GB of RAM, decent size 2.5-inch drive or whatever in there. Could be a decent little home fit or even streaming PC maybe, but I wouldn't count on it being a streaming PC. But it's a PC just for work, you know. Connect your regular 27-inch, 24-inch monitor to it, keyboard and mouse, you know, and I think you'd be good to go. And it's so small, you know, it's crazy. I mean, if I can do it, I think I'll try and put a picture of the screen up on it, of what it looks like, but it's so small, it's crazy. So yeah, I really like the look of that, and I think I may even think about getting one, to be honest, but I wouldn't count on it. Our diesel days numbered. A view from a trip to BYD's electric bus factory. Buses emit a lot of carbon dioxide, but BYD is making our fleets cleaner. So it says Lancaster, Caliph, one single diesel transit bus consumes the equivalent of 10,440 gallons of gas or fuel a year, according to the FHA, Federal Highway Administration. Replacing the diesel-burning transit bus with an electric bus has some obvious benefits. Electric buses improve local air quality because the particles coming from diesel don't exist, and according to the Union of Concerned Scientists, an electric bus runs cleaner than a diesel bus no matter where you plug it into on the US grid, even if you're plugging into gas fed by fossil fuels. I don't necessarily believe that, but okay. In the desert, Northland of Sanjis, a Chinese company called BYD, short for Build Your Dreams, that's clever, is banking on transit managers realizing this. BYD has offered us technical tour of the Lancaster facility in July. We found a bustling floor factory filled with 900 workers who are building, welding, shaping and painting about 90 buses at various stages of competition, something like that. The workforce recently unionized and expect to grow to 1,200 workers in the future. So far they have put 250 electric buses on US roads, and in mid-July the company has more than 400 orders in the pipeline, which is pretty good. A significant number of buses in the NANS industry. Last December, routines estimated only 300 public buses on US roads were electric. Of course, the numbers include publicly and privately owned electric buses, where routine statistics only tails public buses. Still, the number shows how aggressively the electric bus industry is growing, considering the size of the market just 6 months ago. They're not the only company making buses in North America. Companies like Proterra and New Fly, which I've seen a New Fly bus before in Homicide 2 with the Chicago map, have also been churning out their fair share of battery-operated vehicles. As cities, countries, companies and colleagues try to move away from diesel, factories like BYD stand to grow quickly. And they go on about the paint and interior and all the assembly further on in the article, and the testing and what they look like, and I'll try and put a picture up on the screen of what they look like. They look interesting. It says after buses are tested, they're sent to their new homes. If customers close by, often BYD simply hire a driver to deliver the bus to its new home. Now again, this is good, but I don't think electric is the future. Hydrogen is clearly the future here, especially for buses. And again, I just think hydrogen is the way to go because there's more of it. And electric is a temporary solution, I think, and electric as well is not a new thing. You know, the first electric car came out in the early 1900s, in the late 1800s, I think, but it's only the early 1900s. So really, we got to stop, I think, focusing on a technology that's really old and focus on something new that will work and give us better performance and make our world greener. It's going to happen whether people like it or not, even if they don't believe in global warming, which I think with modern science is absolutely ridiculous. But if you don't believe in it, then say you're the one that isn't going to benefit from whatever the next car is, because if you decide you don't believe in it, eventually fuel for your car's going to run out. So yeah, I just don't understand not believing in global warming. when, as far as I can see, the people that don't believe in it, their sources are unreliable, and what they're looking at is edited data. They're not looking at true data. But if someone wants to prove me wrong, please go ahead, but don't give me something that's I've already seen it's edited data, please. I want someone to genuinely change my mind. And the last thing I think I'm going to talk about, as I'm getting towards the end of the video, is the next Windows 10 update nearing completion as it gets an official name. So it says the last few Windows Insider previews of Windows 10 have offered a few new features and have instead focused on fixing bugs. The latest build released today takes a step towards completion. This was on 17th of August, and it's the 18th, so it was yesterday when I'm recording this. So it was yesterday it came. So it takes a step towards completion. As a changing the operating system's version stamp. Till now the previews comes on version 1803, 1703, 1709. The release from earlier this year, today's build updates, label the version to be 1809, showing how Microsoft intends to wrap up development in September or October, and will likely follow to release, which is when they usually do. Version 1809 will be the last 5 Redstone codenamed Windows releases. The next release will likely come in April 2019, simply codenamed 19H1. The Microsoft operating date based codenames to go. It's date-based releases. Don't exactly understand what that means. After a number of releases with big new features, version 1809, like its previous successor 1803, is a relatively small release. It doesn't have many new features. A virtual reality support added in the late 2017 release. Instead, works on refining existing features, which I think is good. You know, trying to refine the current operating system. Their user interface Explorer is getting a dark theme, which is good, and more parts of the operating system are adopting a fluent design system, and Microsoft made an effort to strengthen other features such as the new clipboard and sync features between devices and new screen clipping and screenshotting tool, which would be good. I like a good screenshotting tool, to be honest, that just comes with this. Microsoft is also continuing to enhance the cooperation between Windows 10 and your smartphone and with your phone application for Android. One of the few changes that today's build makes to the shortcut of your phone is now placed on the desktop, so Microsoft tries to encourage its use. I'm sure you'll be able to turn that off though if you don't want it, which I probably won't want it. Microsoft is also using this release to add important infrastructure. The new console subsystem used for the command line application will start working much better in scenarios as SSH remote access. The variable notepad editor is also going to get finally Unix line editing, not because Microsoft is updating Notepad per se, but the next text editing control that Notepad is built around has been improved. So this is all good, and I'm glad that it's focusing on fixes and not just focusing on new features. And hopefully it goes towards a better Windows 10. And hopefully again the smartphone thing, you'll be able to turn that off if you don't want it. Can't see why they'd force you to have it on personally, that would just seem ridiculous to me. But anyway, that pretty much covers. I'm running out of time, I can't really discuss anything else. I think I've discussed 3 things, so that's fine. Again, all these topics were from Ars Technica. If you have anything you want me to talk about, tell me below. I'd be happy to talk about it, whatever it is, as long as it isn't too controversial. But I do like controversy, so. But anyway, all the articles will be linked below if you want to check them out, read them in more detail and all of that. And yeah, I really do hope you've enjoyed this, and as I say, I'm going to try returning to doing this at least every week, if not every other week. Because I think I have my passion for it again, I say. Touch wood. But anyway, thanks all very much for watching, and until next time, bye for now.